Good evening, folks. It's WRFU up here, been on 104.5 FM, broadcasting live for our new studio location. Thank you to Matt and Jay who are in the background with all the production work and all the madness and mayhem that transpires before every single moment when we are live here. Got a special guest and a special conversation today. I want to welcome to the stage here, to my left and to the right. Do a quick mic check and tell them who you are.
I'm Kevin, and I am the president of the Uniting Pride Center of Champaign County.
Okay, and give them your website as well for folks out there.
http://unitingpride.org.
And what exactly is the UP Center, or the UP Center?
The UP Center of Champaign County is a community center that serves, hopefully, as a central hub for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning community. We offer a variety of programs and services and special events, and if we don't offer those services that are needed within the community, we refer out to other programs that already offer those services.
True. And it's weird when I saw the email actually the bio that you sent me. It said LGBTQA. You have enough letters in the alphabet, bro?
I know. Yes. As a matter of fact, we often now, we're reverting back to a time where we actually use the word queer as an umbrella term. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes people actually hear me now use the word queer because it's easier than saying LGBTQA every time and explaining what all that means. Yeah. So queer now is coming back as that umbrella term that means the entire community.
Yeah. The people who do all the signing for everything are probably very appreciative of that as well.
Yes, exactly.
And so we had a deep conversation we're going to have, a couple topics we wanted to touch upon, some of which actually which are very pertinent for the moment. But we also wanted to talk about some progress that's been made in the community, in particular with your center. Right, because last time we talked, we brought him here to the microphone, it was kind of still a notion that was being put out there and a lot of fundraising transpiring yet. So give us an update what's happened since.
Well, we have now been in existence for a little over a year, almost a year and a half. Mm-hmm. In our first year of existence, we raised $30,000. We had several special events.
Can I get down?
No. We had several special events, the biggest event being the first organized Pride Festival here in town, where over 2,500 people showed up to Lincoln Square to support the community. And that was our biggest fundraiser after expenses, raising $10,000 in itself. Since then, we've gotten space. We now have our own space housed in the IMC building, the Independent Media Center in downtown Urbana.
You got sucked in.
Yes, I couldn't leave. So we have space that's downstairs. It's one room. It's not what we talked about before we had these,
grandiose.
Yeah, grandiose expectations or hopes. And obviously $30,000 doesn't go that far when you add things like directors and officers insurance, liability insurance, rent, all these other things that go along with having a nonprofit organization. So right now we have a single room space with a private bathroom, which is important as we start to offer support programs for different communities. For example, we're about to start a new support group for the members of the transgender community. Because not everybody can be as comfortable as they would like to be in general public, oftentimes that community will come to the center first, change in the bathroom, and actually participate in the group after, rather than being in general community.
It's almost like you got the telephone booth from Superman.
Exactly.
It's turning into Lois Lane or vice versa, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's unfortunate that we have to do that, but it's for safety precautions, so yeah.
That's understandable. We also wanted to talk about some issues which are transpiring now in the moment in terms of legislation which is changing. Mm-hmm. Tell folks what the issue that's coming up.
Well, June 1st, the Civil Unions Bill of Illinois actually takes effect. It's an actually really interesting bill. The actual formal name is the Protection of Religion and Marriage Act or something similar, which you can probably tell by the name it was fairly political. In order for people to vote on it, we need to protect religion and marriage.
Yeah.
So that bill is really important, though. It's a really first step in a really big step towards equality. It's definitely not a bill that provides equality to the community, but at the state level, especially for state employees and anyone getting state funding, they will be required by law to treat the gay and lesbian community, same-sex couples, as equal in regards to benefits and other aspects of whatever they provide. If they provide one benefit to straight couples, they're going to have to provide that to same-sex couples that go through the civil union process. So that's a pretty big step.
And when we were talking before we even started, you started to mention some issues in terms of the process of marriage being equitable,
Yeah.
or access to it?
Yeah, it's really interesting. This is new, so it takes a lot of people to put this together. And, when we talk about equality, it's really hard when you don't have the same language to really be equal. So I've been really working very hard with our county clerk, who's amazing, Gordy Holton, at Champaign County.
Actually said something about positive about
Hey,
it.
Absolutely. He and his team have been
See, we don't hate
absolutely
everybody.
amazing.
See, no.
We don't hate everybody. He and his team have been amazing. So and to make the process as fair as possible. Obviously, the marriage license, say spouse or husband wife, or male female. Obviously, in a same-sex couple, that language isn't
Appropriate.
appropriate.
It isn't adequate.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't match. So they've been working really hard to change the language to be more neutral, like partner A and partner B, and to also match the civil unions bill. And then once you apply, because you have to first apply for a license, just like a marriage license, and their office is really working very hard to get that application up and running. And that will go live June 1st, and which, by the way, a group of us will be meeting at the county clerk's office at the Brookins Center in Urbana to actually be some of the first in the door to apply for civil unions. Once that happens, you have 24 hours before you can actually have a ceremony. And you have two options for a ceremony. You can either go to a member of the clergy, because the law does recognize that anybody who can perform a marriage can perform a civil union, which means you can go to a person, a member of the clergy, or you can go to a judge in front of the court. When we first contacted the courthouse, just because it was so new, they were only allowing civil unions to occur on Fridays, when their marriages occur Monday through Friday.
What if that was your Sabbath?
Exactly. Well, because the Judge Blockman, actually, who performs everything he's in charge of everything marriage in the courthouse. He also performed our adoption for our son between my partner and I. After hearing our concerns through one of his staff, Jennifer, who is absolutely amazing, the judges got together and actually opened it up so that civil unions and marriage would have equal access to the court Monday through Friday for 4 appointments a day, starting at 11:15.
I think they knew they would have lost that one with the quickness, man. There was no,
Yeah.
there was no need to adjudicate any of those through the process. They were.
Yep.
We knew what was going to happen. Yeah.
And another concern of ours was this is something that hasn't been an option for us. So obviously there's going to be a lot of people wanting to do this up front at first, and at a total of 4 per day. And the first week we're not even going to be able to have our ceremonies till Thursday or Friday.
Wow,
that
3 days.
leaves only 8 people that could actually go through the courts. So Judge Blockman, understanding that, was super nice and opened up his schedule. So he'll be taking appointments, as many as he can in those times on Thursday, June 2nd and Friday, June 3rd, to get as many to accommodate the community as much as he can. So we've had really good luck. We've had a couple media pieces written and on web media that are willing to announce civil unions. Smile Politely has gladly offered to do it for free, and we'll have a process for doing that soon. The News Gazette will actually do wedding announcements for a fee, which is how they do a civil union ceremony equal to a wedding announcement. Right now they have put in writing that they will not announce engagements for same-sex couples. So we're still working with them to, yeah. So we're still working with them, and of course those announcements are free. So we're still working with them, and I think they're open to conversation and discussion. So this is one of the things that we're here for. The Ep Center is here to advocate for the community in a manner that is professional, opens eyes, and hopefully opens hearts as well.
That's a great approach, I think, oftentimes, when there is difference and also coming to understanding. And I was also, when you're talking about the forms and partner A, partner B, something that came to mind is the dread that I can imagine some of the people from this town, because I've experienced some of the fear of change and difference and otherness, and how people convey that, sometimes in the smallest of ways, and sometimes you don't even have to look at them to know what's transpiring in their head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know their reaction. So I just thought that was interesting.
It is. It's the marriage license will not change. There'll actually be two separate forms because they have to now track in their database two separate applications: a
Right.
civil union license and a marriage license. Um, but yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I, as a gay man who's also a parent, I get really sick of going to fill out forms for my kid and it's saying mother, father, or husband, wife. And that kind of language is just, it doesn't reflect today's community. We have several same-sex couples in this area, and a lot of them have children, and that kind of language is definitely offensive.
Yeah. And it's interesting because obviously this is public funds which are being spent, and
Yeah.
it's supposed to accommodate the community. So if those opinions aren't being expressed and not being met, then where's the money going in essence,
Right.
right? So some other issues we wanted to talk about. Is there anything else related to that topic of the civil unions you want to discuss?
No, we've been really lucky. We had 80 people show up to a workshop that we held. Natalie Bauer, Finan and Mann law firm, showed up to educate our community, as well as Caroline from Equality Illinois. And Equality Illinois really worked hard to get this bill passed. So the combination of them made up a five-person panel at Champaign Public Library a couple weeks ago. We had over 80 people in attendance. So we've been educating our people about what the bill actually means as far as how it impacts them. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of questions because when a new law comes out, it's really precedence within the court. If somebody challenges something, how the court responds to whether or not we'll get power or equality within that. And so it's going to take some time to see how it really plays out, but right now it's very clear, cut and dry. If you're getting state funds, you are required to be recognized as long as you go through the civil union process.
Which is why when we talked, you said there were issues with private entities and holding them accountable to follow the same equitable process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Another topic I wanted to talk about that actually happened this past 7 or 8 days was about the KISS. The KISS,
Yes.
what we label this. So basically, I went to a couple of lunch and learns or quenches. One of them was a lunch and learn, the other one was a quench. And Professor Ricky Rodriguez from over at the university, gave presentations about movies he had seen and a paper that he was writing or chapter he was writing related to how space is used to define populations and Latinos, and I think how it separates people, and then the notion of how space is used in movies and not just in literature. But for example, Latinos only living in one part of the city, and every time you're in that part of the city with the camera, you're seeing a certain type of car, a certain type of house and space. Whereas if you go into like the white neighborhood, there's only a certain type of space and type of house, etc. And in the process of showing one of the clips at the second one at the Quench during the lunch in the Union, he shows a clip from a movie, and there's a long kiss between two men, very passionate, very in-depth. And it was the first time I can say on TV or anything I'd seen a deep kiss between two men.
Okay.
Right? And so when I saw it, I could say now in my older age, now that I'm 30 plus years on this earth, man, I'm a lot wiser, a lot, more well-rounded as a man. It didn't shock me. But it did raise my eye in the sense that I was aware that it was the first time and it was new. And then there was a whole dialogue about heteronormativity. I think that's a word.
It's a great word.
And so that combined with, I guess, just my notions of normal, what's acceptable in public. Because I don't really like seeing people kissing in public to begin with myself. It's just real awkward, and when people slobbering, I'm like, oh, come on, man. If you want to do that, it's go home, go into a private space. That's me personally.
I kind of have a bipolar response to that. One is kind of the get over it response. It happens, I just the other day was on the train, and a heterosexual couple was totally making out, like right there in front of everybody, so we're used to seeing this and experience this all the time. And had it been a gay couple, it would have been a completely different experience on the train,
Right.
I'm sure. The other part of me has kind of a PDA rule, and that is, if I'll do it in front of my mother, I'll do it in public. And I kind of wish other people would follow that rule, even though I know some people might have different relationships with their mother than I do. But, my partner and I, we hold hands in public. We kiss hello and goodbye. Nothing, nothing terrible.
Terrible.
Well, nothing terrible in regards to what other
affectionate,
people, nothing overly affectionate. Not that that's terrible. But we have a standard that we try to meet, and we don't allow society to dictate that. We kind of let our own morality dictate that. We also have a child, and so I think not doing that for the public's benefit is unfair to him. It's unfair for him not to see his fathers actually showing affection, and that they can be friends and love each other and hold hands in public, and so in my old age and as a parent, I have kind of a chip on my shoulder about that. Like, it's just one of those things where it's part of our life, and it's really unfair to our son, because then he grows up in a world that says his fathers are unequal, his fathers are not allowed to show affection, and what does that do to his own identity as he grows up? And it's just not fair.
Yeah, I thought I would bring that up because I thought I was, just that experience, like I said, I would not have seen it had I not gone to those opportunities provided by, I guess, the Office of Intercultural and Interpersonal something relations, well, OIIR, whatever they are, man, OIIR, whatever. You can't have these acronyms with all these syllables, man. It just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't even make sense.
Welcome to academia.
Yeah, exactly.
How was the response of the audience?
It was good. I mean, I don't think that, because obviously that's the quench is the one that's particular to the LGBT community,
Right.
And so you get a population that goes to it that feels comfortable with being there. Undoubtedly, that plays a factor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think they were more prepared, or like not. It wasn't that different for them,
Right.
or for us. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I said in the beginning, I was like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I got over it. So I think in my youth, that would have never happened, and I could not have seen that transformation now. Like, I could have never called that in my life. So.
And you probably, more likely with the way life has changed, you're probably more likely to see that in public now than you would have been when you were younger as well, which I think also changes things.
Yeah.
There is more openness, and that there are several unfortunate people in this community that have to be closeted due to their situation and their home life and their fear of coming out. However, there's also a lot of people that live very open lives as gay and lesbian, bisexual, and transgender couples that hold hands, kiss in public, and so you're more likely to see that outside of the context of a movie as well.
Yeah.
Which also I think changes your reaction to a film, Kisses.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, when I thought back to it, I did see another situation like that. I mean, I think about I've seen a few because I live in New York. You go through the village.
Oh, yeah.
You go through the village in New York, you can't help but see that. But I remember I was waiting. Doesn't even matter. I'll skip to the topic. Another topic I wanted to discuss was that with Kobe Bryant and his comments that he made after getting fouled, in essence, by, he thought, inappropriately, shouting some profanity along with the derogatory remark at another player, which garnered a lot of attention. Did you hear about this, and what were your thoughts?
I did, and this is where my no tolerance policy really kind of comes in. I mean, I think he is a person in his position making the kind of money that he makes, and that really needs to act more responsibly. And if he doesn't, for me, that's grounds for suspension determination, because it's just uncalled for. That level of hate and the frustration, and I mean, just the anger that he projected during that is just totally unacceptable as a role model in the position that he's in, and just as a human being. And so personally, and I know a lot of people, want to he's going to he'll apologize, let him move on, let him learn from that experience. And I just think that's too much of a slap on the wrist. He really needs to understand what that means. If you were in a workplace setting, that's definitely grounds for termination, and it could put other employees at very unease feelings about being around that person, and that, and I feel like in his position, that is considered a workplace setting, and it should be treated as such.
It's crazy you say that, because I'm thinking in my head, like, there's no way the Lakers are going to let Kobe. I mean, he could damn near kill someone. As long as they don't find a body and have enough evidence to, convict him, they're going to let him play on the court. That's just my personal...
And that's unfortunate, because when they do that, they perpetuate that it's okay to get away with stuff like that. And what I think needs to really happen in our society is we really need to take a stance to say that's not okay in any way, shape, or form.
I agree with you, but I think for that standard, it's different for me when it comes to athletes or people who are in entertainment industry, because they're not. I mean, I don't think they should be role models or regarded in that light. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's what people pay and are entertained to do. And if they do something wrong during that, of course there's remediation and they're held accountable.
Right.
But termination, just because if they were like a leader, like a legislator, I would think, of course, it's appropriate. You know, the guy's being like the guy when he made the macaca comment. I forgot the gentleman's name. The Republican who was running, George. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
And yeah, he made that comment. I thought it was totally appropriate for him to stop running in the race, and also to lose his position. You know, any respect he's regarded with should be lost, at least in the public sphere, because, you know, what can you do with that guy?
Yeah, but I think then we're setting a different standard because it's public money versus private money. And what I'm trying to advocate for is a humanity standard that says we need to treat this as a workplace. And because your workplace happens to be in the public eye, well, you could choose not to be in the public eye.
Yeah.
You got caught. And it was really inappropriate. Even if the TVs were off and nobody heard it but the ref and the coaches, the same needed to happen.
Yeah, you know, it's a difference of opinion there.
Yeah.
That's what we get here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other different thoughts or any more information you want to give folks about the Up Centers, like, you know, events that are coming up or anything like that?
We have some great upcoming events. We'll be at the Farmers Market 8 weeks out of the summer. We're not going to do the entire summer, but we'll be doing 8 weeks. So we'll have a booth at the Farmers Market in Urbana. On the first Tuesday of May, so I believe that's the 3rd, the 3rd and the 17th. So the 1st and 3rd, we'll be starting our first men's support and social group. So it's a gay men's social group on the first Tuesday of the month, and then support on the 3rd Tuesday of the month. We have the Pride Festival Committee going on right now, planning for this year's Pride, so anybody wishing to get involved in that. Pride this year will be on August 19th, and we're hoping to get a bigger crowd even than last year. So we're trying to cram more than 2,500 people into Lincoln Square.
How do they feel about that, by the way?
Well, to be stereotypical, we clean up after ourselves. They love it. We work really well with the team at 88 Broadway and Fluid Events. They're amazing, and they are great to work with. They're really well organized, and we work together as a team to set up and take down and to make sure that everything goes well. And that teamwork has proven successful in other events as well. And so I think you know, we like being there as much as they like having us. So,
very cool.
Also coming up on June 11th is our 2nd annual Film Fest, and that will be at the Art Theater in downtown Champaign. And we're really looking forward to that. This year we have 5 films, 3 of which have been donated from the directors/producers. So, you know, we're left paying for space in only 2 of the films instead of all 5. Anybody wishing to be involved in the planning of that can contact us at the website unitingpride.org or kevin@unitingpride.org. And then the Twin City Roller Derby Girls, the Derby Girls, just announced that they chose the Up Center as one of their charities. At every bout, they raise money for a charity. And so we'll be their charity for May 21st, their bout on May 21st. And we're really looking forward to that. We'll be at the Ice Arena at the U of I.
The Derby Girls.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're
what
amazing.
are we going to get when we see that there?
They are amazing. And so we're really happy to be teaming with them and that they've chosen to support us in that way. And let's see. And I think, May 1st we have an open house. If you want to see the new space, May 1st, which is a Sunday, next Sunday. At the IMC, Suite 102, at the Independent Media Center, 202 South Broadway in Urbana. Suite 102 at 5 o'clock. We will actually have an open house for anybody who wants to come, see what we're doing, look at the other programs we have, and check us out.
It's crazy how much stuff is actually housed within the IMC.
Yes.
Independent Media Center, if you go down there, 202 South Broadway, you'd be amazed at what you find in downtown Urbana. It's a hodgepodge of the communities.
Exactly.
Extremist, conservative, religious, everything. Artistic,
Yeah.
you know, bothersome, opinionated individuals. You know what I'm saying?
It's awesome. I love being in a building that caters to the entire community. So you walk in
Which
that
is why they're
building.
always bickering now.
You walk into the building and it's like this, constant flow of people that represent the community. Oftentimes, you go into these places where it's very segregated, like caters to one specific population. Being a part of, well, we're not a part of the IMC. We're occupants at the IMC.
Part of the IMC community.
Yes, but being a part of that community is one of the best places. It's easy access from the bus. You've got a variety of community members that represent the actual community in the buildings, so we really like it. And another event that we're having this Friday is we'll have a booth at Sex Out Loud at the Illini Union, which is a group of people coming together to promote safe sex and other aspects of sexual identity, and we'll have a booth there at the Illini Union, and that's all day. I believe it's 10 to 3.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank Kevin for coming on. As always, Jay is about to get up onto the camera, get off that cue. We'd like to thank everyone for helping and participating in the show. Always a pleasure to have him on. Hopefully in a year you have more things to report and other things transpiring.
Excellent.
WRFU Pier Band on 104.5 FM. WRFU is an open forum for the band of Champaign community views expressed to the speakers and non-tenant represent WRFU, CIMC, a band of social forum, the Airshifters, UPTV, UI Channel 7, the Up Center. The views of those of the speakers and the speakers alone. We got to say that for legal purposes, folks. Thanks for staying tuned. Thank you to Matt. Thank you to Jay. Thank you to Dre Sconey and also Just Love for contributing their songs, which you're hearing currently. Thank you to both artists, and hopefully we'll have them on again shortly. Jay, take us away.
First time in my life I wasn't alone. From different area codes, we made a statement and girl it was so bold. As soon as I wake up she receives the first words of my day. Of all the places I could fall in love, I fell on the phone. I fell on the phone. You were so hard to find. For you I would search a whole lifetime. And even though far apart, you'll always have a place here in my heart, girl. Imagine one day I'd wake up and you're right here by my side. Of all the places I could have fell in love, I fell on the phone. I fell on the phone with you, girl, yeah. Girl,